Time to see the world again in style here on Cruise1st TV with an unrivaled selection of cruise lines, all crammed into one TV channel. Now, in this show, one of the cruise lines that we know that you love time and time again for the variety on board, friendly service and some of the best times at sea. We're talking, of course, of Princess Cruises with exclusive savings on this show, thanks to my one and only favourite guest on the sofa to talk Princess Cruises. Of course, it's Jo McGawley. Welcome back, Jo.
I'm sure you say this every time.
No.
You know you're my favourite, but every time it's great to be back again.
Absolutely brilliant to see you. Now, let's talk about, first of all, the latest gossip from Princess. So the latest ship from Princess is the
Sun Princess. Started sailing in March, and I was so lucky, Derek. I was on the inaugural sailing, second half of it, so I went on for 5 days. Oh my gosh, the ship. I've always said the great thing about Princess is the familiarity of all of our fleet.
Yeah.
Sun still retains that familiarity, but she's gone up a notch. And the feeling of travel and going to destinations around on board is incredible. Unbelievable ship.
It is, and we, both of us, are going to take a very, very, very much closer look of that incoming show. So that's to come. That's like a cliffhanger.
Stay tuned.
But we've got some new news where it comes to dining as well, haven't we?
Yes, literally just announced this week, actually. We've listened to you guys at home and all of our Princess customers. And previously you could either book your traditional dining, or we had that open dining that you could go anytime.
Yeah.
Obviously, with open anytime, people quite often congregate at the same time, so it wasn't really working. So we've taken it away and listened. So from all voyages from September the 14th, we want to have 3 options. One is still your traditional, so you will have your dedicated dining room, your table, your waiter, the same friends, or a meal for 2. It's entirely up to you. That choice is yours. We will then have a new category called reservable, Derek, which I think is where we've listened. So actually on the day, if you suddenly decide we want to eat at 8, you can book your table. You can book your table according to your itinerary in the app before you even travel. So if you know you're going on a long excursion and you want a later dinner, you can pre-book it. We also want to keep an element of that openness for all the guests like me. I never know when I want to eat, Derek, and when I'm hungry, I'm hungry.
Yeah,
so
I'm ready now.
Absolutely now. So we're still keeping that anytime. So we'll have 3 dedicated restaurants, 1 traditional, 1 reservable, and then 1 for anytime walk-ins. So incredible step change, and we listened.
And that's how the best gets even better, you see. Right, should we crack on with some offers then?
Please do.
We've got loads coming up actually in this show. We're off down under to Hawaii and the Caribbean with exclusive savings. Oh yes, exclusive savings right the way through this show as well. Jo's here, of course. You know I always go to the top table first. But let's start with a go big or go home opportunity because we are going down under to Oz, and we're going to cruise Fiji and the South Pacific as well. Now this is 18 nights all told, and we're starting on the 12th of March next year. Good time to plan that right now as well. So let's start by flying all the way down under to tomorrow, which is Sydney in Australia, because it's already tomorrow there somehow. I can never get my head around that. It's summer when it's winter, and it's brilliant. Now you're going to get your shorts on here and head straight to Bondi Beach because we've booked you into a hotel for a couple of nights in Sydney. Sydney has to be seen. There is so much on offer there. Australia, of course, I mean, you know, a lot of people watching this still haven't been to Australia because you kind of think, actually, well, I need to sell my house to go to Australia. And people still have that in their mind, don't they, that it's so ridiculously expensive to even go. I
think it's also the travel, isn't it? You go, oh, it's so far away. But now with the, you know, you could stop off on the way and all the airlines and make it so comfortable. So it's not that far for a 2-week holiday.
And of course, when you get there, everything Australian is waiting. Beautiful Bondi Beach, a wonderful shopping city as well. The Harbour Bridge, the Opera House, there's lots of different ways of seeing those as well. And of course, you'll be sailing past them as you sail out on gorgeous Royal Princess. And this is going to be your wonderful home where everything you need is literally at your fingertips, quite literally, with the app.
And it's got the most amazing spa. Just in case anybody wanted to go for that little bit of indulgence on board, particularly if you've flown all that way, get access into the spa because it's incredible. The hydrotherapy pool will just put your well-being on the map, and then you can go and just enjoy the rest of your cruise.
Well, the good thing about the itinerary here as well, first 2 days at sea, perfect.
Fabulous. go and get the spa.
Yes. Is that something that as soon as I get on board, I should like get arranged
Correct.
and get sorted?
So you literally go to the spa desk and you buy access for your entire cruise. So once you've booked it, you can go and come as many times as you want, go in and out, the wellness pools, the sauna, the steam rooms. Honestly, it's fantastic.
That sounds
Hot beds.
good.
Oh,
That sounds,
insane.
yeah. You need that kind of thing, don't you, really? You know, that's kind of like the nice opening door to your relaxation holiday. Everything's going to be taken care of for you. We were talking about food before and the changes in dining, very positive changes as well in dining, or extra choices. And talking of choices, well, where do you begin?
Well, that's it. And when I was talking about the dining rooms there, that's the main dining rooms. That's just what's included in your cruise fare.
Yes.
So then if we start going outside of that, you're looking at the speciality dining restaurants on board. And I think I've said this before, the surf and turf in Crown Grill, which is on board Royal Princess, is absolutely, it's perfection.
It's got to be done sometimes. You've got to do things that you don't ordinarily do all the time. You know, you've just got to, you have got to splurge a bit, haven't you, on a cruise?
And the great thing is you can prepay, book it in your app. So you've got your speciality dining, you know what special nights you want to go and create before you even travel.
Yeah.
Get it locked in, get it booked, enjoy the best food on board.
And we'll just mention that we've factored Princess Plus into all of these offers because you just would anyway. So we've kind of, you know, taken the liberty of doing that for you, because for, you know, what it would be to add on, you would look at the value and you just say, well, yeah, of course I would. And that means that drinks are part of the offering without you even needing to think about it.
You don't have to worry, do you? So it's drinks up to $15 are included within the package. But then don't forget, you're offering that plus, but if they also wanted to upgrade to Premier, that's only an extra £15 per person per day.
Yes.
And then that accesses you into some of that speciality dining that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So always, you know, before you travel, think about what you want out of your holiday and just go and enjoy.
Well, the last thing you want on your mind when you're travelling in this part of the world is, oh, how much did that put on the account today?
Absolutely,
you don't need to worry
Derek.
about that whatsoever. Enjoy those movies under the stars, and I tell you what, those movies are going to be even sweeter in the destinations we're going to. 13 nights of pure bliss. First 2 days at sea, which is brilliant, nice and relaxing. And we're into Noumea in New Caledonia. Wonderful tours on offer here. Wine and cheese tasting, scenic drives, which look really, really exciting as well. And just so many sights to see. Lots of adventures to plan with your excursion team on board as well. Mystery Island, Vanuatu. You could tender over to this wonderful little island. You can go paddle boarding or just have a little bit of an explore if you want to. Day at sea, so nicely paced this cruise as well, into Suva in Fiji. So this is right at the heart of the South Pacific. Wonderful gold sand beaches, absolutely gorgeous. And you can visit a traditional Fijian village on a tour with Princess here, which would be rather nice to do. Next we go into Drivuni Island, which is less than 2 miles in length. Oh, there you go. You could work on some calories doing some steps, couldn't you, around that if it's only 2 miles in length, but there's lots more that you can do there too. It's wonderful. Just enjoy it. I mean, you're on the other side of the world, for heaven's sake. Next, we're into Lautoka in Fiji, which is beautiful. It's the second largest city. So head into the market here, or maybe down to the South Sea Orchid Garden. I love orchids. They're beautiful. And I bet they've got a huge array for you to see there as well. Final 4 days at sea, which is wonderful because that means you're really, really having a nice, relaxing holiday. And of course, they're not empty days by any means. There are so many activities and things that you can be getting involved with during a sea day. Sea days are some of the best, aren't they, Jo?
Well, some of our cruise directors are the best as well. So they make sure that the entertainment programme when we are at sea is second to none. So you'll have so much fun, particularly in that part of the world.
You're going to love it. It is just perfect. Now, this is for March next year, so we're doing some advanced planning right now, but we're doing it with some exclusive savings. So now is the time to book. You can do it with a low deposit today of just £299 per person, and that's your flight from the UK out to Sydney in Australia. It's a long way away. 2 nights in a hotel there for you to relax and unwind and get ready for your 13-night cruise on Royal Princess with drinks on board, which is brilliant. Wi-Fi, there's Ocean Now delivery, so via wearing one of these, your medallion, you can have food or drink sent to where you are on the ship. Your room service is included, and there's more besides. Remember, you're cruising Fiji and through the South Pacific back into Sydney, and of course we include the flight that you'll have to, unfortunately, reluctantly take back to come home again to book the next one. Now, our exclusive saving just for you on this offer is £100 off per person. So when you see your price tag, it should be £100 more per person, but because we always go to the top table here at Cruise1st TV, we always have the best deals out there, £2,899 per person. A picture that in my head, a price that in my head feels like, how are we even flying to Australia and back and staying a couple of nights in Australia, let alone doing a cruise with so much more included in that price tag as well. It's incredible.
I'd see that price, Derek, without Princess Plus, if I'm 100% honest.
Yes.
Because obviously I'm used to seeing pricing daily for Princess.
Of course.
I mean, that is phenomenal.
Yes.
It is phenomenal.
It's ridiculous. That's why you're here, darling, and that's why you're my favourite guest. Amazing. Let's look at upgrades on the ship as well. Remember, you already have Princess Plus in there as well, and we'll show you a little bit later, you know, what exactly that includes, kind of item by item, because the value in that is just incredible. Everything about this is just perfect. It really is, and you should get your deposits in right now to book yourself a treat for next March. Don't think that a holiday like this needs to have an excuse to do it. Don't wait for a big significant milestone in your life or an anniversary or a honeymoon, or don't wait for any of those excuses. Get it booked right now. We are here to live for today and enjoy the very, very best experiences that we can. And the world's a lot smaller than it used to be. Do you know what I mean? When you look at pricing like that, you would never imagine that you'd be able to go to that part of the world for that kind of price. Well, all I'm going to say is you ain't seen nothing yet, because next we're off to Hawaiian Paradise with Princess for next February. Lots of choices here in this show, with many other dates as soon as December this year, actually, through to April, and then December next year through to April in 2026. All bookable with a low deposit today. Now, the 19-night trip starts by flying from the UK out to the streets of San Francisco. Do you remember watching that on the telly years and years and years ago? Well, you get to go there, and we're staying for 2 nights. Have you been, Jo, to San Fran? Have you?
And you have to, my biggest thing that you have to do when you're there, hire a bike. If you are fit enough to hire a bike, cycle over the Golden Gate Bridge, and then go and have a couple of beers in Sausalito, and then get the ferry back over to San Fran. Amazing experience, one off.
Do they do those bikes though, where it's like part battery, part
Sadly
pedal?
not. No.
Oh.
Well, they possibly do, but I went for, you know, the exercise option to burn off some calories ready for my cruise.
And it's quite long, the Golden Gate Bridge, right?
I wouldn't know how long it is, but yes, my legs certainly felt it at the end, Derek, so I think it is quite long.
Okay, sounds good. Looks a wonderful place to explore, and you've got plenty of time to do it as well. If you want longer there, of course, you can add more nights, but in the package as it is right now, 2 nights there in San Francisco, and then it's time to cruise. Well, this time we're on the Ruby Princess. Little bit more intimate, Ruby?
So I have a real soft spot for the old Grand Class of ships. So I would say that the Ruby is a traditional princess ship.
Okay.
Before we went into the Royal Class and everything became a bit more modern, but the heart of all our Grand Class ship is the crew. I think I've said this before, a lot of the crew on lights of Emerald, Ruby, Grand have travelled with the ship.
Yes.
So they've got 20, 25, 30 years service in the case of some of these guys, and it's their home. And because it's their home, they welcome you into their home. And the Ruby, for me, was just, and it was the crew. It was the crew. The feeling you got on board was just awesome.
And it makes such a difference, doesn't it? The team that you have on board, knowing that they're enjoying themselves, you feel that.
It.
Yeah, you do.
It totally enthuses you then, and you just, honestly, it just makes you smile. The Ruby makes me smile, so you'll have a fabulous cruise on her.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm particularly in that part of the world. I mean, hello, Hawaii.
Yeah, well, you can't fail to have a good time in this part of the world. The crew must love, doing these itineraries as well, because they're doing one after another, aren't
and they enjoy the sea day, so they get to spend more time with the guests as well. So you make those connections, you're making those memories together, and you're getting those experiences. So
there's the sanctuary as well. We just saw the sanctuary. Now that's a little place where you can, you book your place there and just go and escape, can't you? What happens there?
Go and relax. So It's basically an adult-only section. So sorry if anyone's got children, but it's just for us grown-ups.
Yeah.
Big, comfy sun lounges. You book your space as soon as you get on board. Just go up to the sanctuary. You can book a half day or a full day. And once you've done that, you'll get waited on hand and foot. Big, as I say, big, comfy sofas. And then you're looking out. It's right at the front of the ship. A big plate glass windows,
Best
and you can
views.
just see. Oh, it's incredible. Just watching the waves go past.
Yeah, I think I could deal with that. I think, you know, I'll have a go. It sounds a tough job, but I'll have a go. Do you know what I mean? I won't have a go at the voice of the ocean because I really know that I will never have the voice of the ocean. And you don't have to do that. You can watch everybody else doing it, which is great. So let's go on a 16-night cruise on this gorgeous Ruby Princess. The first 4 days are at sea, which I always think are great because it gets you to just slow down, relax. Yes, you can be doing things all the time, but relax. And then we're going to Honolulu. Take a North Shore tour in Honolulu here and go and see the emerald green rainforest or Sunset Beach and just park yourself there for the day. Next we go into Nawiliwili in Kauai. Stop giggling. It's known as the Garden Island with volcanic slopes and the beauty of the big Waimea Canyon that you see at the top picture there, which is beautiful. And there's a big fern grotto there as well you can take a tour to. Next we go into Lahaina in Maui and you can visit the Haleakala National Park. It's where the volcanic crater is as well. That volcanic crater, 7 miles long. Wow. It hasn't erupted since 1790 though, so we're all right, which is good. Next we go on to the Big Island, on to Hilo. Again, volcanoes are very much a feature here. You've got a national park actually dedicated to volcanoes. There are also tropical gardens there for you to enjoy as well. A few days at sea and we find ourselves then across in Mexico into Ensenado, where everyone wants to head to La Bufadura, to the Blowhole, to the park there. That you can take the Blowhole Express to go and see it as well on a tour that you can book with Princess, or take an ATV tour through wine country. Who knew that somewhere like that was wine country? Well, go and discover more. And then, of course, you'll come back into San Francisco and then fly back to the UK. That's a lovely, lovely holiday, actually, isn't it? That's perfect. I mean, imagine how much you would discover on that holiday and how much relaxing time there was as well. Sometimes an itinerary, if it has too many ports on it, you're kind of like, I don't want to miss anything. So it feels very busy because you're always doing. Nice balance of sea days means that you're spending time guilt-free, relaxing. Go to the spa, go to the sanctuary, just watch the world go by.
Just read a book, Derek. How many times do you just get to sit with the waves lapping beside you, looking out for any wildlife out there, just a book and a margarita?
That sounds good to me.
Should we book?
Yeah, let's. It's for February next year, and the package has lots of other dates to choose from as well. It includes the flight from the UK out to San Francisco, 2 nights in a hotel there, and then your 16-night cruise on Ruby Princess around the Hawaiian Islands and Mexico, all inclusive. Of course, you have Princess Plus factored in here as well. So that's drinks, Wi-Fi, Ocean Now delivery, and more that we'll talk about in just a moment. And of course, you'll fly back to the UK. Plus, our Cruise1st exclusive saving you an extra £100 off per person, which we've factored in to this price here, which again doesn't look anywhere near enough. You can put down a deposit of just £299 each today to make that price a reality. And when I mean a reality, I mean you put your deposit down now for a holiday that you're not going on through until February next year. That price is locked in with your deposit, which is just amazing. Let's look at upgrading then. If the price is that good for the starting point, well, look at that. Look at that. I'm going to ask you what the treats in the suite are all about, Jo.
So, is this a mini suite we're talking, or are you going right up to the top
We are
suite,
going mini
Derek?
suite.
Okay, I love a mini suite. It's my favourite. So you will be greeted on arrival with a glass of champagne, which is always very pleasurable.
Yeah.
You get a bath in your bathroom as well, which for me, when you're on these longer itineraries, sometimes you like to just go and lounge, maybe with that glass of champagne in your bath. The cabins are slightly bigger, so you get a sofa as well as your bed area, so you have that nice living area. So it's just those little extra touches that really, mini suite for me, it's the extra space, and then you get some of the prime positions on board the ship as well. So
absolutely,
you know,
and that's the thing with staterooms as well. You know, the bigger and you know the higher category you go to a more prominent position on the ship as well, which is incredible. And of course, you would expect on a suite to be Yes, I've got some rather lovely views here indeed. Right, okay, let's have a look. That's an amazing offer, by the way. Call our team right now if you want to investigate any of the other dates on that one as well. Now, we need to whiz on finally in this show. We're off to the Caribbean. Is that all right with you? Yes, let's do it on Enchanted Princess, all inclusive, shall we? With our exclusive saving just for you here at Cruise First. Now, it's 15 nights in all, and it starts on the 30th of October. I'm already shivering thinking of the 30th of October next year. So let's fly away and let's go and shiver somewhere else. New York, beautiful New York. We're going to be there for 2 nights in a hotel. My word, I tell you what, still, I think if you said to most people, OK, I'm going to give you 2 tickets to go to America, where do you want to go? 99 out of 100 are going to say New York, aren't they?
And that time of year, fall colours are starting to, or at the end of the fall colours.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be absolutely stunning.
Going to be so much going on, and you're out of the peak tourist season as well, and that's actually good. Sometimes it's nice to go to a place out of peak season because you really get to see it. You can do all the things that you want to without having to wait, and you know, maybe miss out on things that you really want to do. But of course, the main attraction on this wonderful holiday package is sailing out of Manhattan or Brooklyn on Enchanted Princess, and 12 nights, and we're heading to the Caribbean. Perfect ship for the Caribbean, Jo.
She is. I sailed on her actually in November. And I know that I said before I love the Grand class ships, but Enchanted again was really special. She's so light. Everywhere on board you went, and I think it's just going from that traditional cruise to this new modern luxury liner that we have with Enchanted. But again, if you're going on Enchanted and you're in the Caribbean, we have an Irish bar on board called O'Malley's. You have to go and have a pint of Guinness while you're at sea in the Caribbean.
Yes.
Listening to live Irish music. It's incredible.
Perfect. Yes, because it's almost like chalk and cheese, isn't it?
Correct.
Which is, that's what you want to do. That's what makes the memories of holiday, isn't it?
Absolutely. So that's just one of our venues on board. But then obviously we also bring the Caribbean in, having steel drums up on the open decks at night. And it's just an amazing itinerary. Amazing ship. It's
funny, isn't it? Because the atmosphere and everything that goes on board on the ship, you could almost be anywhere in the Caribbean. The destinations are a pure bonus, aren't they? Because there's such a good vibe on board.
And we've always said that, haven't we? It's a resort, and we're just travelling you around to these destinations to immerse you in all the culture, and then we bring it back on board.
Well, and also, I also think for those people that haven't been out to the Caribbean yet, I'd still count myself as yet in that category, that yes, you could book a 2-week holiday in a hotel on one of the Caribbean islands. You couldn't really come back from that holiday and say, I've been to the Caribbean, in the same way as something like this, where you're really seeing the Caribbean.
What we always said, Derek, we've said cruising gives you a glimpse into what you would like to do for a longer period of time. So the Caribbean, this is the perfect way.
Your taster.
A taster. I've done it. I tasted. So I've been to Antigua and some of the other islands and St Thomas, and I could never have done that in my lifetime to all the islands I've been to in the Caribbean without cruising.
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely. Because you'd run out of budget so quickly, wouldn't you?
And time. I've had no time.
That's the other thing as well, isn't it? The travel between the places, and of course, and the unpacking, the repacking, and you know, all of that kind of stuff. And will I make the plane? And all of these things. You don't have any of those worries. You can literally disappear into this wonder world when you're on a cruise, and I think that is the real secret. Listen, I know I'm preaching to the converted, to a lot of you watching this channel right now, but if you haven't had this kind of experience before, it really is as easy as it looks. In fact, Princess make it even easier, because literally the app that you have on the phone in your hand, connected with the medallion that you have clipped to you one way or the other while you're around the ship, just makes life, I don't want to say too easy, but almost too easy, Jo. I mean, it's just brilliant. Let's go on the itinerary, just very, very quickly walk you through where we're actually going. First 3 days at sea, brilliant, nice and relaxing. And then we're into Philipsburg in St. Martin, and that's the one that has the famous airport beach where all the planes come into land just over the beach, which is quite a sight to behold, I do believe. Next, we are off to Basseterre in St. Kitts. Now, all of these Caribbean islands are very, very different. They all have their own personality. They all have their different heritage. Actually, some of these islands are Dutch influence, French influence, you know, everywhere.
Really surprised me how different, Derek, actually.
Yes.
Really different. So.
Yeah. People, I think a lot of people do think actually when you're going around the Caribbean, you're just literally, it's just a same thing on a different island, and it really isn't. They could not be more different. Castries in St Lucia, of course, then we move on to Curacao, Willemstad with its Dutch influence there, almost like you've ported in Amsterdam actually, where you port in Willemstad. You've got the lovely painted houses there just in the harbour, they're beautiful. Next we head into Oranjestad, which is Aruba. And you've got to wander some of the wonderful beaches here and just watch the world go by. But the Cuckoo Kanuku bus, I definitely want a ticket for that. I really do. Then you've got 2 days at sea, and we end our cruise in Fort Lauderdale for the flight back to Miami. Now, I'm just going to recap this very, very quickly because there's a couple of things I want to pick Joe's brains about before we run out of time. So if that itinerary there for you looks the perfect treat, then book it with us because we've got the exclusive savings for you as well. We've packaged everything together so beautifully, and this is for next October, of course, when it will be miserable as sin here weather-wise. So that's a good chance to get away right now. Book it with your low deposit, just £299 each today, and we'll fly you out to New York. We've got the 2 nights in a hotel there, then your 12-night cruise on Enchanted Princess around the Caribbean with drinks, Wi-Fi, Ocean Now delivery, room service, and more. Cruising the Caribbean, and of course you'll fly back from Miami at the end, and our exclusive saving of £100 per person off the price tag, which you wouldn't get anywhere else. That's exclusive just between us right now, because we've got, you know, we always invite the top people in to get the top deals for you, and that is your package price there, which is amazing. This is something you should really treat yourself to as well. You've got plenty of time for budgeting as well. Deposits today, £299 each. Remember, you really don't have to factor in much more beyond that other than spending in the places that you're going to, and optional treats that you might want to enjoy on the ship itself. And if you want to add more nights in New York, do it. Speak to the team and add more. We can do that for you, no problem. And maybe at the end, you might want to add a stay somewhere like Orlando and Miami before you fly back. Here's the upgrades on board. Very, very nice. And, oh, now we haven't made a mistake there either, have we? Look, the ocean view and the balcony prices, they're both the same. How good is that? So, what that is something rather marvellous that we've negotiated as well. Pay an ocean view upgrade price. We'll upgrade you again for not 1 penny more to a balcony. How does that strike you in the Caribbean? Would be amazing. Let's just show you what's included with Princess Plus as well, because it's in all of our offers. We've factored it in for you in all of these offers, and it just makes so much sense. It really does. Room service, complimentary all the way through the cruise, which is brilliant. Express boarding, so getting on the ship just that little bit swifter. And
straight to the bar.
Yeah.
Perfect. Or the buffet, whichever's, you know.
Yeah, whichever goes first.
Whichever goes first.
Drinks package, so drinks up to $15 each, which is a vast amount. I
was going to say, in the nicest way, when I was on in November and again on Sun, there was barely anything I would want except high-end whiskies, some bourbons, etc. that then went over that, spilled over into that. But for all your wines, most cocktails, you're absolutely grand. And unlimited Wi-Fi as well. It's kind of a must these days, isn't it, really, to stay in touch. Although, to be honest, I am still an advocate for putting my phone away and which you can.
Escaping.
And I've said this before, Derek, if you don't want to use your phone, then you just have to have your medallion for opening your door. Everything else, you don't need your phone if that's what you want. Always got mine handy, gets you in and out the stateroom, does everything you need it to do. I said to you, sadly, it doesn't work on land. I know. So, yeah, you can't go and order a beer. Champagne. Yeah, no, now. No, it's not working. Right, you're going to have to come back again, you know that. I will, as always. Never long enough. Thank you, as always, Joe McGawley from Princess Cruises, who will be back for, well, something very, very special coming up very, very soon. So make sure you don't go far. I've said too much, as always, already. Such a gossip, really. Stay right where you are, though, because here on the channel, we've got so much more coming your way. Always amazing offers. See you soon.